finally, we've got a fucking new striker. It's now been officially announced that Gonzalo Higuain is going to be our new striker for Chelsea Football Club. I can't wait. I'm buzzed. And I'll tell you why. Because I know a lot of people are quite disappointed with Higuain coming to Chelsea. Now, we'll look at his age. He's 31. Alright, 31. So what? We've got a lot of players that's still in their 30s playing top football. The likes of Ronaldo. You've got Lewandowski in his 30s. All these great names, top players that are still playing to the top of their game. So I don't believe that age should be a factor. I mean, even Ibrahimovic from Man United still showed his touch of class, didn't he, within the Premier League. Still physically strong, still banging goals in for fun. So I don't believe age should be a factor. I know Chelsea have a thing about not signing strikers over the age of 30, but maybe it's time for a change. I mean, it didn't work out with Morata. I think he's a load of wank. I think he should go. Giroud could be our sort of backup target man, so to speak. He's not going to bang in goals, but he's there. He's an option for us. I think with Higuain coming, I think it is ideal because there's so much. What's the word? There's so much opinion around someone that hasn't proved it within a league. He didn't prove it at AC Milan. Well, if you actually look at some of his videos, he has banged in a couple of good goals. Not even easy goals, say like the likes of Harry Kane from penalties. Okay, we're talking about, a classy player that does get into the proper positions as a number 9 and score for fun. Okay, now we can look at the team that used to be in for AC Milan. Okay, I think their best player is Suso, and he's a decent player, but he's injured. So he's had to rely on the likes of getting through balls from the likes of Frank Kessie and Bakayoko, which is an absolute flop for Chelsea and continues to be a flop for AC Milan. So even the quality of the balls he's getting and sort of the positional plays, it can't be good for the chemistry, can't be good for the players' morale, it certainly can't be good for the team morale. So with the likes of him coming into Chelsea, he's playing with Hazard, who can cut inside and drift wide, with the likes of Willian as well, who's also a good passer of the ball, can whip balls in for fun. What you want, and we seem to have this obsession with having a target man. Okay, now I think that generation has gone, to be honest. It's not always about having a big target man. We could talk about Diego Costa being, a target man, but as well, he did fit into them little pockets within the little space within the 6-yard box and the 10-yard box. I also think Higuain can do this. Now, with Hazard's passing ability and Willian possibly cutting in, you've even got options, say Pedro, who's still pretty good, and you've got, if we keep him, Callum Hudson-Odoi, who had shown some quality. Also got, who I think is a very phenomenal player for our team, and I hope we do purchase him on a permanent. Excuse me, it's Mateo Kovacic. Now, I think he's great. I saw him first play, and he played this through ball to, I think it was Hazard, I believe. Scores. It's a 20-yard through ball, just like that. I just think fantastic. With the likes of Jorginho as well, playing as a holding player, also shows some good passing quality. So with the sort of Sarri system that he wants to play attacking football, I think Higuain can fit in very well. And will I think he'll take the number 9? Who knows? But we have had some pretty shocking number 9s in the past. The likes of Fernando Torres and Radamel Falcao, who've been absolute flops for Chelsea. So, I'm not superstitious, but I hope he doesn't take the number 9, to be honest. But I definitely think Higuain can play as a number 9. He does get into them little pockets of space, and I have watched him, and I think he's a good player. He's played for Real Madrid, he's played for Juventus, he's played for AC Milan. The Premier League, he could be an absolute monster for the Premier League. Now, it has been shown within the Premier League that Argentinian players do very well. Okay, we can look at Carlos Tevez, absolute beast for Man United, beast for Manchester City, and pretty good for West Ham as well. We can look at Aguero just banging goals in for fun for Manchester City. Okay, he's not a target man. Again, he gets himself little pockets of space. With the likes of Sane and I think Sterling, they play a very different system to Sarri, but they sort of like to get behind, and then sort of Aguero can fit into them little pockets of space. I think Higuain can do that with Hazard and Willian, and I think with Hazard now dropping to the left within his natural position as a winger, I think he'll relish his chance to link up with someone of Higuain's quality, to be honest. Now, we can also look at him as a player with a lot of experience, okay? I don't think Morata's got a lot of experience, you know. He was a flop at Juventus. He wasn't very well considered. I think Mandzukic was put in front of him. To be honest, I don't rate Mandzukic. I think he's a piece of shit. But, you know, we just need someone with that prowess to, you know, say, listen, give it to me on the edge of the box and I'll score. Give it to me in that little pocket space in the 6-yard box and I'll score. I think he'll do it. You know, we are coming towards the end of the season. I know it's nearly the end of Jan. So he's got a few months to prove himself. I know they've taken him on a 6-month term, which I think is actually fucking very good business for Chelsea. And I'll tell you why. They're not really buying, you know, they're not really paying 70, 80, 90 million for this striker. Okay? You know, you look at strikers nowadays, they're going upwards of £100 million. If we sign him, we can get him for under 40 million. And I think, you know, that's great business for Chelsea. As long as he proves himself. I think if he proves himself within the 6 months, they can get another extension for a year to prove himself once again and then sign him on a permanent. I know he's got a good couple of years left. I think he'll bang in 10 to 15 goals. I think more realistically between 10 to 12 goals this season. I think he can do it. He just needs to fit into Sarri's system. Again, you know, I do understand that the Premier League is very different to the Serie A. The Serie A is a very slow league. Obviously, the build-up play is very slow. The quality is it's not as good as the Premier League. I think with the Premier League being so fast, all Higuain's got to do is just get into them pockets of space. Got the quality of Jorginho, you know, playing them long balls. You've got Kovacic being attacking. You've even got Kante. You know, he's got the pace to go forward to provide that extra man support. You've got Willian on the right and you've got Hazard on the left. If we keep Callum Hudson-Odoi, can also be an option. Barkley's an attacking option. I think, do you know what? It is good business, and I think he'll do it. And people need to stop underestimating someone that's done it. Yes, he wasn't part of the World Cup for Argentina, but do you know what? There's a lot of really good players that wasn't involved in their team. You've got the likes of Sane, for example, for Germany. He's a top player for Manchester City, and he wasn't even picked for the German squad. It's bizarre, and yet they get knocked out by South Korea in a 2-0 shocking defeat. So it just goes to show that stats and all this bollocks doesn't really define a person, doesn't define a player's character, doesn't define a player's quality. And you know, time will tell. But my prediction is that Higuain will get between 10 to 12 goals this season. He might get a couple of assists, who knows? But essentially, he's going to play that number 9 role. He might be a false 9, he might be a real 9, who knows? But I know he'll be there. And I can't wait to see him. I know this video's been made Friday night. So we are playing on Saturday. Oh, if I can see him on Saturday, I will literally, Higuain, Willian and Hazard. I just can't think of a better combination right now. Good business for Chelsea, good business for Sarri. He has a good working relationship with Sarri within the past. I do believe a few years ago, or a couple of years ago, from my record, he scored 36 goals in 35 games. beast. Now, am I saying he'll do that this season? I don't. But, you know, he can adjust a lot quicker to, say, another striker that hasn't worked with Sarri before and what he wants out of the player. Sarri is a very attacking-minded player, and I think with the energy as Hazard, Willian brings, I think it can all just come together and it all work out nicely. So let me know what you think. Do you have any sort of ideas for other strikers? I was also thinking of, they're discussing all these players like Immobile from Serie A, Lazio, which I think is ridiculous. I just think there's too much of an obsession for Italian football players to come into the Premier League. Not that I say, not that I've got anything against Italian players, I don't. But, you know, Serie A is very different to the Premier League, so, you know, we need to sort of focus on other leagues as well, League One, France, and also maybe La Liga Santander, instead of just focusing on one league. Focusing on Mauro Icardi. He's an Argentinian, but again, I don't understand the logic behind Mauro Icardi. He hasn't really done much, in my opinion. I think what we're actually lacking for Chelsea as a midfielder since we've lost Fabregas. Don't really understand the signing of Pulisic. I really don't understand that. American footballer used to play for Dortmund. I can't remember if it's 53, 54 million pound for Pulisic. He hasn't proven himself within Dortmund whatsoever. Really don't. I think we could have gone for, you know, with Sarri's high energy system, I think we could have gone for a player like Nainggolan from Inter Milan. I think he's a fantastic player. Or we could have gone for maybe even a holding midfielder to allow Jorginho to move further forward with his passing ability. Could have gone for Matuidi from Juventus. I think they're good attacking options, to be honest. Again, we could have gone for Mertens, because I know there seems to be an obsession now with the Premier League getting fast players. Now, you know, it's not always the case to get a fast player within the Premier League. You know, I used to get a stiffy, to be honest with you, when Aubameyang was announced that he was on Chelsea's radar. But he went to Arsenal. I was gutted, but then I did watch him play. And if you actually go back to some of his games, I don't know, they might have highlights on YouTube. You can actually see he's missed from about 2 or 3 yards. He's right next to the goal. It's an open goal, basically. And he's missed a fair few times. He's missed a lot of chances. So it just goes to show that pace isn't everything within the Premier League. You know, you just want, I think what the perfect striker is for the Premier League, you just need someone that has a versatility of attributes. You need someone that's, it doesn't have to be fast, they just need to get in them pockets. Someone that's preferably a good head of the ball, because the game is based on a lot of physicality, getting into the box and jumping above defenders and scoring. I think there's a lot of intricacy within passing right now, and I think, you know, you just need someone that's a good finisher. Not always about pace. I mean, I do like the thought of Dries Mertens linking up with Hazard. He's a Belgian player, fantastic player. But again, I don't think he's physical enough for the Premier League. Now, there's a lot of criticisms around Higuain being overweight and blah blah blah. He's not the quickest player, blah blah blah. But you know, to be honest, we've got Giroud and he's fucking slow. And for Arsenal, he used to bang in goals for fun. Fantastic target man. I believe he's about 6'4", so he's got his strengths. With Higuain, he's going to get into them pockets. He's not the quickest of players, but again, he's not the slowest of players. So I think it's very unfair to assume a player that you don't have much knowledge about. You know, you've got all these sort of, you know, computer experts, you know, typing, think they know the bee's knees about a player. You know, I've watched Higuain for a while, and I'm telling you, I think he'll do 10 to 12 goals. I think the worst case he'll do 7 or 8. That is the worst case. You know, like a lot of players, they will adjust. They will have to adjust to new teammates and build some chemistry and some morale with the team, the manager. But that should all pick up very quickly, because he knows Sarri. Again, he's going to be working with some really good players in the likes of Hazard, Willian, Pedro. So I think they're going to make him feel very welcome. He can adapt to the new system very quickly, and I think he's going to be an absolute underrated monster for the Premier League. Another good Argentinian striker. Put down in history. Stay tuned.